Dakota State face its toughest challenge of the season, trading blows with the Penguins and finding a way to win its 12th straight road game. Now the Bison are back home for a couple of games, hosting another top 10 opponent as the Missouri Valley Gauntlet continues. It's North Dakota State and Western Illinois coming up next on the KVLY KFYR Bison Television Network.
Get your horns out! Yeah, you can hear the herd coming, baby, like it or not. We've been waiting while tailgating in the parking lot. Now that clock is ticking down, the boys are ready to go. The energy in here's electric. Let's get on with the show. Get your horns up. The green and gold are back in town. Get your horns up. Pumped up and ready to throw down. Toss that coin up in the air. Bring them boys up to the line. Hold your horns up high because it's Bison time.
Hello, everyone, and welcome inside the Fargo Dome for Missouri Valley Conference football here on the KVLY KFYR Bison Television Network. A top 10 matchup here this afternoon as 10th-ranked Western Illinois comes to Fargo to take on number 2 North Dakota State. Thanks so much for joining us, Brian Shawn. Lee Timmerman back with you once again. And I'll tell you what, North Dakota State faced its most difficult challenge of the season last week, a hostile environment out at Youngstown State. But the Bison passed that test, but it did take overtime.
It did take overtime, but the fact that the Bison did pass that test and get that first big road win is certainly setting them up for the gauntlet that the NDSU is playing in front of them. And also, when you talk about road, no team has been really better in the road than the team the Bison are playing. I mean, Western has won all 4 of its road games, almost unheard of this deep into the season.
Yeah, that includes a road victory, a thrashing of Coastal Carolina, an FBS opponent, 52-10 earlier this season. The 2 quarterbacks today coming in are having really strong seasons. Easton Stick ran for 172 yards last week, but the completion percentage very good. On the other side, Shawn Maguire, one of the best in the Missouri Valley as well, what he's doing for his team.
And the one thing Maguire's doing better than anyone else is probably getting the ball downfield. I mean, Western has an offense that really takes shots. Maguire's triggering that. Jalen Acklin is catching a bunch of those on the other end of that. Acklin, the wide receiver, in the last 3 games has had 22 plays of 20-plus yards in just 3 games. But that shows you the idea, the concept. Western wants the ball to go downfield.
Getting set for kickoff, North Dakota State and Western Illinois. The Leathernecks won the toss. They decided to take the football right away, so North Dakota State will kick off, and the Leathernecks will be first on offense here today.
It's a little bit of a statement decision, wouldn't you say? We want our offense out there right away.
There's a look at Charlie Fisher in his 2nd season, a former assistant at the University of Richmond. Has done a fine job here at Western Illinois, taking over for Bob Nielsen when he took off for South Dakota. Western Illinois off to a 5-1 start. The lone blemish, a home loss to South Dakota, 38-33 a few weeks ago. Cam Peterson getting set for kickoff. Deep for the Leathernecks is Darren Wheeler and Clint Ratkovich. This is another Peterson Farm Seed kickoff. Kick off your planting season with Peterson Farm Seed. Cam Peterson puts the toe to it. Wheeler will take it from his own goal line. Squeaks through a hole and then taken down by Jabril Cox and Darren Kelly at about the 27-yard line. North Dakota State on defense has a good one. Here's the starting lineup brought to you by Shields.
Caleb Butler, Blaine, Minnesota.
Nathan Tangway, McWanago, Wisconsin.
Aaron Steidel, Carlos, Minnesota.
Stanley Jones, Bismarck, North Dakota.
Levi Jordan, Dickinson, North Dakota.
Nick DeLuca, Omaha, Nebraska.
Jabril Cox, Kansas City, Missouri.
Jalen Wimbush, St. Petersburg, Florida.
Robbie Grimsley, Hutchinson, Minnesota.
Trey Dempsey, Lakeland, Florida.
Gail Nelson, Papillion, Nebraska.
Shawn Maguire under center. It's loud in here to get things started. Jalen Acklin in motion, play action. Maguire under pressure, and down he goes. Back at the 23, Caleb Butler with the sack for North Dakota State.
Sure looked to me that Maguire was trying to go big early. He was covered, double covered deep.
Let's take a look at that Western Illinois offense. Starting lineup brought to you by Shields. A very senior-laden offensive line. As a matter of fact, 4 seniors up front, led by Jacob Judd, the center. Second team all preseason All-American. Keep an eye on Steve McShane. Had his biggest game of the season, the running back number 5. Quick handoff to McShane, who squirts through a quick hole and gets back to the 30-yard line before he is dropped by Jabril Cox, among others. Will bring up 3rd and long.
But we talk about the big play mentality that this Western Illinois team has. Off that first play, there was a double action jet movement. Nodak Insurance Company replay. This is the handoff to McShane. I thought Cole Karch really got moved well by the guy he was going against. We'll keep an eye on that. But with 2nd and long, the Bison will easily give up 5 yards or so because it's still 3rd and long.
Western will spread it out here. 3 receivers to the near side of your screen. 1 to the high side on 3rd and 8. Bison rush 4. Maguire fires, and it's caught by Tony Harper, but he's short of a first down at the 35.
That's what the Bison were giving, the short route, because Acklin was right behind Harper about 5 or 6 yards deeper, and if Maguire finds Acklin and hits him, it's a first down. The Bison do the thing they're supposed to do, give it up short, 3 yards short of the first down, forcing a 3 and out.
And more pressure coming from the high side that time, just as Maguire let go of the football. So on for his first punt of the day is Adam Felder. Gets off a good one here, driving Darius Shepard back to his own 14. Juggled for a moment. And Adam Brott coming down to make the tackle. Nice open field special team tackle by Brott. No gain on the return.
That was a gorgeous punt. Boy, it just came off his foot and kept on rising.
Let's take a look at that North Dakota State offense. Starting lineup brought to you by Shields.
Easton Stick, Omaha, Nebraska.
Colin Connor, Linden, Wisconsin.
Bryce Messner, Mackville, North Dakota.
Dannon Volson, Belfort, North Dakota.
Austin Cooter, Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
Zach Johnson, Spring Lake Park, Minnesota.
Connor Wentz, Denellen, Florida.
Brock Robbins, Cavalier, North Dakota.
Lance Dunn, Waterloo, Iowa.
RJ Urzendowski, Omaha, Nebraska.
Darius Shepard, Blue Springs, Missouri.
Easton Stick out of the shotgun here. Fly sweep out of the shotgun. Boy, covered up pretty well there, and no surprise, making the tackle Brett Taylor, who is one of the best in the nation. He's already got 87 tackles on the season, just 6 games in.
He's never out of position, ever.
Let's take a look at that Western Illinois defense. Starting lineup brought to you by Shields. We talked about Taylor. Colin Saunders is a guy to watch. Pretty disruptive, 310 pounds, unusual for a defensive end. But again, this is a new scheme this year for Western Illinois, going from a 4-3 to a 3-4.
Well, they have Saunders over the nose right now. That's a different look.
Stick, play action. Plenty of time in the pocket. Going to throw into double coverage for Urzendowski, and that one well overthrown and incomplete. Good coverage on the play that time by Tyron Holloway, and Aaron Diggs also back there for the Leathernecks.
Well, it looked to me like Urzendowski was trying to look back to see if he should break off of the route because he was so boxed in with the deep and the under coverage. Nodak Insurance Company replay. A little bit of a hold there, but doesn't really impede Urzendowski at all. Then you see him hesitate a little bit. He looked over that first shoulder and thought, well, do I need to break this off? Because I don't know if the ball will be able to drop it over the up and over. Stick gave it a whirl anyway, and no chance.
And Tyron Holloway, a grad transfer from Liberty, has been really an impact guy. 3 interceptions already this season for Western Illinois. Stick out of the shotgun again. Flushed, might take off and run with it, gets to the 20. Easton Stick to the 26-yard line. Enough for North Dakota State first down. Michael Bischoff making the tackle for Western Illinois, and Stick ran for a career-high 172 last week, and a big scramble here.
Yeah, those were designed. A lot of those, we should say, were designed. But I think that when you mentioned scramble here, Brian, that's the key. Top of the drop, nothing there. Stick is not supposed to hold the ball long. If he sees nothing is there at the top of the drop, and if he bounces twice, get out of there. And we know that Easton can run, and he picks up the first down. So solid job by the quarterback.
5-man pressure for Western Illinois. Darius Shepard open, makes the catch at the 40, down to the 24-yard line. David Griffith pushing him out of bounds, but a huge gain there for North Dakota State, deep into Western Illinois territory.
It's trips to the wide side of the field, and David Griffith was covering the middle, so a single high safety, and there was a lot of space to drop that ball in there. I thought it was really interesting, a quote that actually Charlie Fisher said that I heard. He goes, "I always believe in isolating a safety and then going deep." Well, that's exactly what the Bison did on his safety on that play.
Shepard, the motion man again. Inside handoff to Bruce Anderson. And we talked about Colin Saunders, who got really good penetration, loss of 1.
Well, he's 6'2". They list him at 310. He looks bigger than that. But an interesting thing is the Bison think that they have to run at him to get around him because he moves down the line so well. I mean, this was a guy when he was young, he was a tumbler. He's got really good feet and he's really fast. You wouldn't think of it with a kid that's that size, but the Bison think they need to run at him because he gets off the block so well.
A career-high 8 tackles last week against Missouri State. He also scored a touchdown
in the
earlier
season opener
this year, a 1-yard run against Tennessee Tech.
Saunders is back at DN now.
Anderson had a block that time, spun through a couple of tackles. Pete Swenson finally drags him down after a gain of 7 down to the 20. Bison a little bit short-handed in the running back department. As a matter of fact, Lance Dunn and Bruce Anderson is about all NDSU has in the backfield this week. Don't be surprised if we see some guys back there who haven't normally played there.
Snapping the ball and then pulling on the play is Tanner Volson. Volson was able to engage on 44. So, hey, whenever you can get a clean block on Taylor, 44, that is a positive sign for the Bison, who now have it at 3rd down.
Stick again out of the shotgun. Dumps it off across the middle and drops. In the hands of Jeff Ilias. But he's unable to hang on and make the catch, and that will bring on Cam Peterson for a field goal attempt.
Griffith, the safety, along with the Taylor, kind of sandwiched the tight end as he was trying to just run a little, just stop. He stopped right on the first down marker, so if he makes that catch and falls forward, the Bison get that first down. But I think Western did a pretty good job of squeezing the intended target on that play.
Peterson connected on both attempts last week. This one is up, looks good, and it is. Peterson has made 7 straight field goals now this season for North Dakota State, and the Bison grab an early 3-0 lead here on the A Country Farm Credit Services scoreboard. Stick to Darius Shepard for 49 yards, set it up. We'll be back with more first quarter action from here at the Fargo Dome. 3-0 North Dakota State as Cam Peterson connects from 37 yards out. 8-play drive for 66 yards in 3.5 minutes. Easton Stick, a big scramble on 3rd down, and then the large pass play there to Shepard set that thing up. Peterson, another Peterson Farm Seed kickoff. Kick off your planting season with Peterson Farm Seed. Wheeler from his 3, tripped over his own man, and eventually taken down by Daniel Polanski at about the 25-yard line.
I think Jackson Brown was in on that tackle as well.
And Brown, coming off that PCL injury, has been an important guy to get back for special teams purposes, LT, but also another guy they can run back there in safety in case they need to.
Yeah, and his depth at safety also helps the ability to be multi in a nickel situation as well.
Let's take a look at that quarterback stat comparison brought to you by the North Dakota Beef Commission. And boy, Shawn Maguire having an excellent season. You see the 15 touchdowns and just 3 interceptions, making very strong decisions. McShane squirts through a quick hole before he is quickly dropped by Robbie Grimsley in the hole after a gain of about 3.
Real important that Grimsley comes up and makes a confident tackle like that, because if he gets past number 5, you have another 20-yard plus play. Grimsley squares him up, keeps his head to the outside. Does a really good job. Textbook tackle there by Robbie Grimsley.
And McShane, 23 carries, 143 yards and a touchdown last week, but before that has really been largely ineffective due to a hobbled ankle. Missed a game earlier in the season, just 104 yards through his first 4 games. Maguire, quick drop, pressure, fires in the flat. Incomplete. Harper the intended target. Nick DeLuca closed quickly to make a play on that football.
As much as the Bison want to get a hit on Maguire, you're not going to hit him every time. But the key thing there, did you see how Maguire had to shuffle off to his left? You make the quarterback move his feet in the pocket. He's good at it, but when you make him do that, it throws the timing of the play off. The ball came out of his hand just a little bit late, which allowed the defense to get to Harper a little bit sooner than that guy wanted it to.
See Nate Tangway actually lining up at defensive end with Cole Karch. Bison showing pressure here. Robbie Grimsley up near the line of scrimmage. Excuse me, James Hendricks. Maguire flushed, might run for it. He did a little bit of this last year and is able to scramble for a first down, pushed out of bounds by Hendricks at about the 38, but enough for the first down of the game for the Leathernecks.
Last year in the contest, Nodak Insurance Company replay, a lot of the stuff Maguire did was on 3rd and short when he was effective, but here's a scramble mode. We saw Easton Stick pick up a first down on a scramble, and then Maguire here doing a good job of playing off the one last block that he needed. But you saw how the Bison showed pressure. Well, everybody dropped into max coverage. So the pre-snap look was not what the play was called, and that's that cat and mouse game that coordinators play.
McShane again inside zone. Gain of about 4 that time before Caleb Butler makes the tackle. And we see the jet motion that Western Illinois will run relatively frequently, and that's something that Matt Ent said we got to make sure we keep our eyes right, because they like to do a lot of misdirection with Maguire under center. And
because Maguire's under center with the jet, that's the thing that is unique about it. Very few teams run that jet play with the quarterback not in a shotgun.
McShane again, this time taken down in the backfield, and again it's Caleb Butler who's having a big first quarter. That's a loss of 2.
Butler getting in the running game from his defensive end position. He's coming from the left side, or the bottom of the screen, slams down, closes down. He also has to make sure that the play is not going outside of him, and when he determines it isn't, he is able to smash down that from his defensive end position and get back in on the tackle.
So another 3rd and long situation here for Western Illinois.
The Bison have the advantage today. They're 4 down linemen against the 5 offensive linemen. That's advantage NDSU.
Acklin in motion at the bottom of your screen. Levi Jordan coming on a blitz, and a delayed blitz floated across the middle and complete as Maguire hung in there. 2 flags come in as LaShore makes the catch down to the 41, but 2 flags thrown by different officials on the field. We'll see what this is.
Yeah, 1 flag early, 1 flag late. I tell you, the quarterback did a fine job. It was an all-out blitz. There were 3 different guys coming, so 7 on the rush.
Holding on North Dakota State is the initial indication.
That's the first flag.
So James Hendricks called for the hold. Both officials saw the same thing, and the play will stand, and Western Illinois converts again on 3rd down. Matt Gallagher, your head referee for this Missouri Valley officiating crew today.
I think that last play, though, Brian, goes to a little bit more to the confidence and the way that the people we talked with in Macomb, just about how well Maguire is playing. I mean, it was an all-out blitz, and he stayed comfortable back there and delivered the ball downfield.
Power formation this time. Play action. Maguire fires. Acklin makes his first catch as he got both feet down before he went out of bounds up to the 27-yard line. Good enough for another Leatherneck first down.
He's the first read. Nodak Insurance Company replay. Maguire to Acklin. Yep, both of those toes make it in. Real interesting kind of combination between those two guys. They're from different states, and because of direct messaging and social media, they helped recruit each other and became really good friends before they ever started playing together or really met each other.
McShane bounces outside, gains a few, up to the 22. Good gain on first down.
It's a zone read. You see McCormick coming in there. That's the guy who the quarterback is looking at, and then how McCormick plays it determines where the ball goes and the handoff inside.
Look at Nick DeLuca, led the team in tackles last week at Youngstown State. Getting stronger every week, Chris Kleiman says, with that knee. Maguire, McShane again. This time finds a crease and almost broke free. He has another first down up to the 14-yard line. Dom Davis was the one that maybe made the touchdown saving tackle that time.
Boy, he had a little hesitation and almost slipped past Davis. You're right. If Dom doesn't bring him down, I think we have our first touchdown of the day.
The Leathernecks averaging 42 points per game, fourth best in the FCS. Maguire, time, now running out of time. Fires across to the middle of the end zone, and boy, a dangerous pass. A couple of receivers in the area there, including the tight end. Back deep was Dom Davis to make a play on the football, incomplete.
I think Conrad, he thought that his quarterback was throwing to him, but I don't think he knew that LeSure was in the back of the end zone. He ran a deep cross. LeSure started on the right side of your screen, and he's running. Now he'll come into the picture, and I think that's where Maguire was trying to get the ball. Caleb Butler has been active today.
Matt Plank in the game now, a middle linebacker for North Dakota State. Maguire, quarterback power. Bison ready for it. DeLuca makes the tackle at the line of scrimmage, maybe a gain of 1.
Well, with Plank into the game, Brian, as you mentioned and pointed out, that means DeLuca can go to the outside linebacker position, a position he was going to start the year at playing before he injured his knee.
That quarterback power hurt North Dakota State a lot last year in Macomb, and Matt Em said we've repped that a lot this week, expecting to see more of it today. Third and long again for Western Illinois. 4 receivers in the formation, including the tight end, Conrady. Bison showing pressure. Here comes Grimsley. McShane to the corner of the end zone for Brandon Gaston, and that one is incomplete.
Yeah, Grimsley coming on the blitz, and I thought Clint Ratkovich did an excellent job of taking Grimsley out of the play and allowing his quarterback an opportunity to at least get the ball off. But both of these defenses so far have really been coming with a variety of pressures. It's been fun to watch so far.
So on to attempt the field goal is Sam Crosa. A transfer from Bowling Green, has not missed this season, 5 of 5. This one from 32. Crosa. It's down, it's up, and it's through. And Western Illinois has tied it up at 3 apiece. 3:06 to go on the Egg Country Farm Credit Services scoreboard from here in Fargo. Today's game brought to you in part by Gate City Bank. Show your Bison pride with an NDSU Gate City Bank ATM and check card. Visit gatecitybank.com/mycard. Impressive drive that time by Western Illinois, converting on some big third downs. Moving it down the field methodically, 60 yards, getting the 32-yard Sam Crosa field goal on 13 plays as we look at your Bobcat scoring recap. Nathan Erickson is the kickoff specialist here for Western Illinois.
Going to reset himself, and of course he has plenty of time. Still 15 seconds yet.
Bruce Anderson back deep for North Dakota State. The Bison have not busted a big one consistently this season. And this one driven deep by Erickson. Wow, good leg. Deep into the end zone. The Bison will have it at the 25-yard line when we come back. 3:06 to go from here in the first quarter. North Dakota State with its second possession at the 25-yard line. Game tied 3-3 late in the first quarter. There's a look at Easton Stick. Again, is really having a good junior season. 73 of 104, 12 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Again, the running yardage last week so important for NDSU. First run of the day for Lance Dunn. He's able to get a couple up to the 28-yard line. Let's go down to our sideline reporter today, Ryan Gellner.
Hey guys, good afternoon. Your First International Bank and Trust sideline report. And let me tell you about North Dakota State. You talked about it earlier, their running back situation decimated by injuries. I am told Dimitri Williams would be the emergency running back. Of course, he's a wide receiver for North Dakota State. A junior from Rosemount, hasn't played running back since high school, but he had a heck of a career at Rosemount, mostly as a running back his junior year and then switched to what he does now. A little bit of running back, a little bit of wide receiver. He would be the emergency back should North Dakota State need him, guys.
All right, thank you. Easton Stick throws a wobbler and it's intercepted by Quentin Boone. He is going to take it back for a Western Illinois touchdown.
There's a flag. I don't know if it's post-possession or not, but you see the club on the right side of Moon. He's dealing with an issue down with his right wrist, and Stick was hit. Watch it, he's hit, and the ball just wobbles. Hit from behind. Swenson, 50, was that the guy in there? And it just floats to Moon. Touchdown. Maybe. We'll see.
May be brought back for something, as you mentioned, LT, after the interception occurred.
Looks like Coach Fisher is getting his offense ready.
Result of the play is a touchdown. The flag that's in the middle of the field, that flag's being picked up. There is no foul in the play. During the play, sideline warning, Western Illinois. Their first and only warning. Touchdown's good. We'll try for point at the 3.
So the play will stand, and Western Illinois comes up with the game's first turnover, and the Leathernecks lead it 9-3.
And they score on Easton Stick's first interception of the year after getting hit. He had the record, I think, for most passes without a pick, but that pressure got to the Bison quarterback just enough to cause that ball to float.
So Crosa will come on for the extra point attempt. And again, we talk about two teams that don't turn over the football much. Western Illinois now plus 12 on the season in turnover margin with that pick. And the extra point is blocked. So it will remain 9-3.
How big were block kicks in this game last year?
There is a flag that was thrown out there. So we'll see what that entails.
But if you remember last year's game in Macomb in the fourth quarter, block kicks were huge. This one's a PAT.
Steitel?
No, it was right in front of Steitel, I think. Stanley Jones. I think it's Stanley Jones, 94, who got a hand on it.
Well, they're still talking about it at the goal line.
We believe they're talking about putting a little too much pressure and hitting the center. You can't do that anymore in terms of you can't just blast into the guy like you used to. You can't hit the center after the snap.
Well, both teams have their kickoff units on about the 50-yard line, so this will be a very interesting.
Rolling on the field, looks like the try was blocked. Member of the defensive team gave himself up and knocked the ball down. Try is no good. free kick at the 35-yard line.
Okay, so it sounds like the flag is being picked up again. Let's go back to Beth Hool in studio for a Missouri Valley scoring update. Beth.
South Dakota had only trailed for 10 total minutes so far this season, while they're trailing right now in Normal, Illinois, taking on Illinois State. They're looking to strike in the first quarter, but Chris Strevler throwing his first interception in 12 months to the Redbirds to end the first quarter, trailing 14-0.
What a play. TV timeout.
All right, thank you so much, Beth. And yeah, it's an interesting game. Illinois State has not played well the last couple of weeks. They got beat by Southern Illinois 42-7 last week, and Brock Spack, the head coach, kind of baffled by what was going on, but the Redbirds responding today at home against undefeated South Dakota.
How interesting is that almost at the same time there were 3 FCS teams in the country that had not thrown an interception. NDSU and USD were 2 of them, and Beth just talked about Strevler's pick, and we just saw sticks here.
So that leaves Wofford as the lone team, and they certainly don't throw the football very much anyway as an option team. Another touchback this time as Erickson boots it back through the end zone.
Just to finish that point on the interceptions, those teams with no interceptions were combined 18-0.
Today's game is brought to you in part by Gate City Bank, and for a limited time only, receive $700 off your mortgage closing costs. For more details, visit gatecitybank.com/betterhomeloans. So Stick will bring the offense right back on the field now, trailing 9-3. Now to a power I as Robbins shifts back. Outside run. Western Illinois right there to close things up.
It's a little interesting because technically, schematically, it's called the 4-3, but if you looked at how Western lined up there with both outside linebackers on the line of scrimmage, that looked like a kind of an old-fashioned high school type of a 5-2 situation where 5 guys along the line of scrimmage.
Brett Taylor in on another tackle. Expect to hear that name, as we mentioned, quite a bit today.
Well, just say it after every other play and you'll be pretty accurate.
Taylor had 28 tackles earlier this season against South Dakota. That just tells you how much he's around the football.
Here's a flag in the backfield. They're going to call a delay. The play clock ran out, but it sure seemed fishy. Like it ran fast.
It certainly didn't appear that 40 seconds had gone by since the last play.
Play clock was not set properly. Will the play clock operator set the game clock to 25 seconds and start on my signal, please?
So the play clock will get reset. I mean, 2nd and 9 coming up.
No, sorry, Brian. The back judge doing what he has to do. He sees 0 on the play clock. He's got to throw the flag.
Robbins again into the backfield. Play action this time. Stick taking a shot downfield. Shepard is wide open, but it's underthrown and it's intercepted again, this time by Justin Fitzpatrick.
Nodak Insurance Company replay. Both safeties, including Fitzpatrick, bites a little on the play fake, and then boy did he hustle. That ball, Stick just couldn't get enough behind it to get it downfield. His receiver was wide open, but Fitzpatrick, who I believe the last 2 possessions has been out there at safety after Diggs started the game, comes up with another pick.
Had his first ever interception at Northern Arizona earlier this season, had 2 picks against Coastal Carolina. 2nd turnover already on North Dakota State here in the first quarter. Maguire, play action, flushed. Escapes, hit by Cole Karch, and then finished off by Grant Morgan after a loss of 1.
No blitzing on that play. The 4 down linemen, 3 of them all had a cracker, get a part of the quarterback. Maguire again wants to go big. There he gets spun around. And Steidel, I think, was the first one in there. big play mentality out of this Western offense, but you have to have time in order to try to get the ball deep downfield.
Western Illinois quickly to the line of scrimmage out of the huddle here. McShane the motion man inside to Max Norris, and he is buried. Gain of 1 up to the 50. A lot of Bison in on that play, but Aaron Steidel, good penetration in the backfield.
Yeah, Karch was there too. Those two guys, 63-53. Nodak Insurance Company replay. Beating a double team is Steidel, and he bottles up the play. Had the right call, slant to the right. The play's going to the offense's left, so the coaching staff had the right call.
And that will take us to the end of the first quarter. 3rd and 10 coming up for Western Illinois, who's come out and turned over North Dakota State a couple of times and lead at 9-3 on the Egg Country Farm Credit Services scoreboard. Back with 3rd and 10 here. Start the second quarter for Western Illinois. Leading 9-3 as the Fargo Dome comes to life. Pressure coming. Maguire taken down from behind. And this time I believe it was Derek Tuska coming in to make the sack.
Speed rush off the high side, just beating the tackle. Some hand fighting in there. Then Tuska is able to just turn the corner and run him down. That was a big stop by the NDSU defense to really help out the offense after that interception.
Just to turn the momentum a little bit. So another punt this time, kind of a low liner to Shepard, who will take it at his own 17. Shepard puts on a move, and then he is dropped and hit pretty hard that time by Trey Hendon. We'll take another timeout. 14:15 to go in the second quarter. Bison have the football, trailing by 6. Well, today's game is brought to you in part by Gate City Bank. Gate City Bank has been serving customers and investing in a better way of life since 1923 with 36 locations in 19 communities across North Dakota and western Minnesota. Bruce Anderson, a tough run that time, taken down by Griffith after a gain of 8. Best run of the day for North Dakota State.
I was watching the physical battle right there between Kunert and Saunders. It was a beauty, those two guys, 75 and 99. Look at those two battle, and look at Saunders get blown back. That's the type of, I'm sorry, what do you, I was just talking about Austin Kunert, and I know the officials started talking. I didn't hear what he was mentioning. But that's the type of get off the ball that the Bison are looking for.
The official is
going to talk to both sidelines, both Coach Kleiman and Coach Fisher.
Well, North Dakota State does have more total yardage in this game so far, but again, the 2 turnovers giving Western Illinois some momentum. A big stop there and a big 3 and out for the North Dakota State defense on that last Western Illinois possession.
And the Bison would like to get the running game rolling here, to establish something a little bit more on the ground if they can.
Back to the power game. Anderson through a big crease, got a good block up front. Griffith steps in to make another tackle, but a gain of 7 up to the 40 and another first down for NDSU.
Back-to-back, very physical surges. The one play prior was on a zone. This one's out of a power eye. You're just throwing a bunch of beef at the Leathernecks right now, and a very nice hole. There's where the Bison, they do feel they have an advantage physically over the course of the game with the NDSU offensive line. We've seen it the last 2 plays. Saunders moves to nose.
Ground game again for Anderson. Saunders coming off his block to make the tackle, but Anderson gaining about 3.
Replay system is operational again. Replay system is operational.
Okay, that's what the issue was. But after those 2 big plays, though, did you see where big number 99 went? He went right to the nose, and the Bison gained only 3. He meaning Colin Saunders, he's played every hand on the turf position already in the game. And he's going to stay at nose.
Elias will motion to the backfield again. Anderson trying to work off some blocks, some tough yardage, turn back. After he gains a couple of more up to the 46, we'll bring up 3rd and 4.
Taylor and others. Nodak Insurance Company replay. Malmstrom leading in. Ilias also back there in a power ice situation. 44 Taylor and some help with Moon. 38 Griffith, the strong safety, in on the tackle.
Taylor, the hometown kid, was recruited by a lot of schools, but many of his family members actually worked at Western Illinois. So decided to stay home and play for the Leathernecks. And somebody looked like they jumped early for Western Illinois, and that's going to be a first down for NDSU. Wow.
Offside. Defense number 99. A 5-yard penalty results in a first down.
So NDSU gets a break that time as Saunders jumped off sides. Lance Dunn checks in at tailback. Feed number 10, who was slowed up initially, and then Pete Swenson came in and tackled him after a gain of a half yard.
I thought Nick Nelson, number 95, was the disruptor. He was the one that got deep early in that play. It was 12 personnel, 1 tailback, 2 tight ends. There's Nelson, who's moved to to nose guard, and he's got a bunch of family and friends here because he's from Vadnais Heights, and so the drive up here to Fargo, thought there would be close to 20 family and friends here to watch him play.
Including his old high school coach from Mounds View High School in the Twin Cities. Dunn, more room this time, stutter steps, and then turn back. Looked like Saunders was the guy initially that turned him back after a gain of about 4 up to the 44. And now a helmet comes flying off and is rolling at the 50.
And it's Dunn's. So Lance will have to come out for this play. Anderson will come in.
3rd and 5 for NDSU.
Nodak Insurance Company replay. This is the end of the play. And then the helmet pops off as Taylor hits him from behind, I think.
There's some hitting going on in the trenches.
This has been an extremely physical drive so far.
Stick will throw. Comeback route. Urzendowski went up and got it. What a catch by the senior from Omaha. Wow.
Well, you certainly come to expect anything thrown his way that he will catch it. Urzendowski, well, he was guarded fairly well too. Goes up and catches that one. I guess you get an opportunity to see why that he's the Nebraska high school record holder for most catches in yards. And that catch he had last week with one hand for the touchdown, that was a beauty.
I don't know if he's going to be able to top that one. So another first down for NDSU. Anderson carries again. Grinds ahead up to the 29. Shabar Wilson, a true freshman out of Memphis, Tennessee, getting some reps here on the defensive line for Western Illinois. Connor Wentz now motions to the backfield. Anderson squeaks through another hole. Pretty good game that time inside the 25-yard line. Fitzpatrick coming in to make another tackle from his safety position.
Well, NDSU certainly likes something on the left side with the power eye. You see the blockers come at him. Malmstrom's in there, and you know, the tight end also with the lead. NDSU's looking on the left side of their offensive line and is trying to line up and manhandle as much as they can the Leathernecks on this drive. It has been working.
And Western Illinois had a really weird game last week. Fell behind 21-7. There was a 99-minute weather delay in the fourth quarter. Ended up winning 49-30 in Macomb against Missouri State. Dunn tiptoes, trying to grind ahead. He's going to be close to a first down, going to depend on the spot here. Might be a little bit short.
My guess is that he's a hair short.
And decision time, I think, here for Chris Kleiman. And he's going to bring on the beef and go for it here on 4th and not even a yard, I don't think.
Nodak Insurance Company replay. No, it is well less, much shorter than a yard. It's about a foot, but 3 tight ends and a fullback came in on this play.
Once again in motion. Dunn through a hole. Oh, he almost broke free, but he's got a first down. Brett Taylor hangs on, or that thing is 6.
You see it happen often when you're trying to prevent a team from getting 1 yard. If they get through that initial spot, it often can be a touchdown type of a play. Dunn's done it a bunch this year.
Dunn up to the 15, gains a couple as North Dakota State goes quickly. Drop there by Xavier Rowe. Rowe an interception last week at 5 tackles against Missouri State. One of those guys, LT, that's a junior, but feels like he's been playing
Played
forever.
for a long time. Well, all of the 11 starters in the 2 deep are juniors and seniors. It's a veteran team. Offense has a veteran team as well from Western.
North Dakota State will continue in this power eye look. Play action this time for Stick. Looking downfield, nothing. Now running out of time, and he's dropped back at the 25-yard line, and the sack is made by Jalen Smith, another freshman from Memphis, Tennessee.
What power running got you in a position to try for the play action fake. Stick on the Nodak Insurance Company replay. That little move was try to get Ilias to move off to his left, and good thing he didn't twist an ankle or a knee. That looked a little awkward when he went down, but Stick appears to be okay.
So 3rd and 17 now coming up for NDSU, and
he had Ilias in the end zone, but he would have to make a dramatic adjustment from the initial route and didn't have time to do it.
Here comes Western. They rush 4. It'll be dropped off to Dunn and a screen. Dunn gets through the initial wave of tacklers and is brought down just short of a first down. It's going to be about a yard short. So does climb and go for it here, or bring in Cam Peterson to kick the field goal?
Nodak Insurance Company replay, swing it out, the little screen, and Taylor misses. He flies through, and I thought as soon as Taylor did not get to Dunn initially, I thought Dunn had the opportunity to get to the end zone, and it's 4th and short again. And you see the offensive unit staying out there.
So 4th and a yard again for NDSU, trailing by 6.
I like it.
This has been a meat grinder of a drive for NDSU. That's taken a whole bunch of time off the clock. Once again, Anderson, I don't know. I think he's short. A surge at the point of attack there for Western Illinois. You saw Taylor McNelson, among others, plug it up that time in the middle.
NDSU went back to the power eye, the play that has worked so well on this drive, but it couldn't get the 1 yard needed here on the 4th and short.
Boy, and a big stop as Western Illinois was on the field for a long time. That was a 14-play drive for NDSU that ends up with 0 points. It looked like
freshman.
Wilson was the last one that really had the push, LT.
Yeah, there was the freshman was in there, Taylor was in there, Wilson, as you mentioned.
So here comes Maguire in the offense. Back for Western Illinois. Back to the ground game. Norris. Boy, tough running past Robbie Grimsley. Dragged down after a gain of about 7.
I thought the more tape you watched of the Leathernecks, the more impressive I thought this kid here was Norris, number 36. I know one of the coaches said he runs angry, and that's a good thing.
Well, his favorite running back is Marshawn Lynch, and you can see that. He just wants to run through people a lot of the time, and is the leading rusher when you look at the total yardage. Averages about 75 yards a game, 6 yards per run, has 4 touchdowns. Started the season with back-to-back 100-yard performances. Norris again. Turn back, about a yard short of a first down.
The coaching staff in the spring had a handful of guys who they thought were most improved, or they kind of said that these players are most improved. Norris was one of those on the offensive side for the Leathernecks.
Would not be surprised if we saw Maguire keep it here on 3rd and short. going to throw it. Flares it out, and he had a man open, but missed him. The intended target that time was Ratkovich, but overthrown, and a 3-and-out right away for Western Illinois.
Yeah, he had Ratkovich in the flat. Ratkovich is a kid that NDSU was recruiting and talking to for a while as a linebacker, but he went to play offense here at Western Illinois, and if he makes the catch, he's probably going to get the yard.
So the Bison a chance to get the football back here with decent field position. Grimsley is back deep along with Trey Dempsey. Fellner, another low liner. Dempsey calls for the fair catch at the 41. And that's where North Dakota State will have it when we come back. Still trailing 9-3 here in the second quarter.
Immediate timeout.
Welcome back to the Fargo Dome. That's a look at the long snapper here at Western Illinois, Hunter Vargo, who we are told does a phenomenal Charlie Fisher impression. I mean, he just goes into character and will just go for 5 or 10 minutes. I'd like to hear that. Anderson will keep it, brought down right at the line of scrimmage. Boy, Quentin Boone came flying in, along with Wilson. No gain. Let's take a look at your trivia question brought to you by the North Dakota Soybean Council. Today's question: how many acres in North Dakota were planted with soybeans in 2016? There are some of your potential answers. We'll have the answer coming up here in just a moment. Easton Stick just 3 of 7 for 77 yards and 2 interceptions so far here in the first half as we tick down towards 3 minutes to go. Stick will throw it here. Running out of time. Stayed on his feet. And now he's going to try to get the corner to the 40 and pushed out of bounds after a gain of about 2 yards.
Well, I know Stick is just scrambling for his life back there, but if he could have peeked up just a little bit sooner, Dallas Freeman was open deep downfield, but he spins out of one man. And he's hoping that Bridges will get one more block for him.
You see Wilson.
That freshman's doing a good job.
Luke Bacon was the guy there that tried to get a body on somebody. So 3rd and long coming up for NDSU. 5 receivers in the formation. And a timeout. This play clock was down to 1. Let's take a look at the answer to your North Dakota Soybean Council trivia question. How many acres in North Dakota were planted with soybeans in 2016? The answer is 5.9 million acres. That's your trivia question brought to you by the North Dakota Soybean Council.
It's that time of the year where the combines are starting to really get cranking.
That's right. Well, today's game is brought to you in part by Gate City Bank. Show your Bison pride with an NDSU Gate City Bank ATM and check card. Visit gatecitybank.com/mycard. Look at Charlie Fisher. Has to be happy with the way his defense has performed here in the first half.
He's got 3 decades as a college coach. Most of those as an assistant. He was a head coach for West Georgia for a run quite a while ago.
3rd and long. Play action again. Stick going to air it out one-on-one. The defender fell down and it's caught. Urzendowski. Touchdown.
The defender was Xavier Rowe, one-on-one and deep. And when that ball was in the air, Rose slipped to the turf, and you know Urzendowski is going to gobble that one up and take it in. And boy, that's what the Bison needed after that pick 6. Stick sets, plants. Swenson's there on his leg. Rose slips down. Urzendowski catches it at the 14 and takes it in.
Oh, a big play for North Dakota State here late in the first half. 58 yards on the connection. The extra point is good, and North Dakota State has the lead back. 10-9 on the Egg Country Farm Credit Services scoreboard. 2:31 to go here in the second quarter. Urzendowski is turning into a legend. 20th career touchdown reception for RJ. Had a big one last week against Youngstown State, and this one really giving NDSU some momentum here late in the second quarter.
His impact was felt from his true freshman season on.
Another Peterson farm seed kickoff by Peterson. Western Illinois has some room to operate. Boy, a good return by Ratkovich out to the 40. So the Leathernecks an opportunity here to get some points with just over 2 minutes to go. Wimbush makes the tackle for NDSU.
Polanski, I thought, did a pretty good job of making sure he didn't give up the outside. He gave up a few more yards, but he didn't give up the touchdown by allowing himself to get beat outside. There he is in the top of your screen. Polanski gets in there, slows down, and then Wimbush gets the tackle. I know it's out to the 40, but sometimes you've seen it, so you round that edge and then you blow down the sideline for the big play. Polanski didn't allow that to happen.
Play action for Maguire. Steps out of pressure, looking downfield and complete. Jalen Acklin made the catch inside Bison territory to the 43.
Some real interesting pre-snap movement. You see Grimsley rolled down into a linebacker spot, so there's only one safety back, and that's a long time for Wimbush to try to guard Acklin one-on-one on the play-action fake. I thought actually Western had a really good play call given what the Bison drew up pre-snap.
Under 2 minutes to go. Ratkovich, a little bit of room to the 41. Tuska in on that tackle for NDSU. Let's take a look at that Bobcat scoring recap for North Dakota State quickly. 3 plays, 59 yards, 58 of those yards coming on the touchdown toss from Easton Stick to RJ Urzendowski.
And first and second down defense, real good. Third down defense, not so much for Western as Rose slips down and the Bison get the touchdown.
Maguire fires. Ooh, big hit that time. Dom Davis came in and smacked McShane, and then a flag comes out.
I think they're looking at where the helmet was and whether this may or may not be a targeting call. We'll see. Definitely did not make contact above. They're going to call him for taunting.
So nothing to do with the hit, had everything to do with the reaction after the hit. Brian Shepard, the cornerbacks coach, having a chat with the junior from Belleville, Illinois.
After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct. Defense number 2. 15-yard penalty. First down. Game clock's going to start on my signal.
So instead of a 3rd and 3, Western Illinois a first down all the way up to the Bison 21. Another play action. Maguire again has time. Karch giving chase, floated into McShane. I don't know how that ball was caught up to the 18.
But Grimsley was right by him and DeLuca was right by him, and somehow the ball slid right in there. Off the play action, you see, well, was my first look. It's looking downfield. Acklin was covered, and now we're in scramble mode, and that ball just barely squeezes through as the window starts to close. And the ball's on the, 18-yard line.
See how aggressive Western Illinois wants to get here. Still 2 timeouts, 38 seconds left until halftime.
I would think very. That's been the MO for this team all year. I mean, with the long plays and long passes and that. I know Western has not been able to run the ball all that well so far, so these play action fakes haven't worked as much as the Leathernecks want. because the Bison doing a pretty good job against the run.
Well, Western Illinois has been plagued by injuries, or not injuries, but penalties this season. But today, just one penalty for 5 yards has not been an issue so far. McShane play action again. Now Maguire dropped all the way back at the 30-yard line by Cole Karch, a loss of 12.
Well, when you want to be aggressive, sometimes you get burned by that. Here it is on the Nodak Insurance Company replay. Nothing there. Karch being held a little bit. He plays off of that, runs through it, and dropped for a huge loss. And a second timeout here taken by Western.
The long for Crosa this season is 41 yards. From here, it's close to 48.
Karch now up to 2.5 sacks.
Let's go down to our sideline reporter, Ryan Gellner, for a report. Ryan?
Little bit ahead of ourselves right now, but Sam Crosa in warm-ups from the hash where the ball lays was good from 51 yards on that side of the field, so that's something to watch. He hit a 51-yarder, and he didn't try to go any deeper than that. He's got a pretty good leg, guys.
All right, thank you, Ryan. We'll see how aggressive Western Illinois gets here on 3rd and 20. Stanley Jones on the rush. Oh, and now Maguire dropped by Jabril Cox back at the 36, and now the Leathernecks may be out of field goal range. They'll call their final timeout with 23 seconds to go.
Almost looked like Cox was just trying to shadow the quarterback as well, and once he gets blown out of the pocket, having to move. And when those feet are moving, they're not staying planted to throw the ball downfield. The Bison just making Western go backwards again and again here.
This would be from 52 or 53 yards for Crosa. And again, Western Illinois had the ball 1st and 10 at the 21-yard line.
And now 4th and 24.
We should mention that Western Illinois, all their touchdowns last week were all 20 yards plus.
Yeah,
so
all 7 of them.
They have a lot of explosive ability, but North Dakota State, rest assured, will be careful here.
But the good sign for the Bison here, though, Brian, is nothing fancy or was being done. It was 5 on 4, and the Bison 4 down linemen continue to win. They won big the last 2 downs, so that's a good sign for NDSU.
So Crosa will line up to attempt this field goal, will be spotted from 52 yards out. Straight away, and Erickson is actually on for this field goal attempt, who has the bigger leg. It is up, and it is good. Wow, Erickson drills it just through the right side of the upright, and Western Illinois has the lead 12-10 with 17 seconds to go.
Bring in the sophomore that has a little bit bigger leg, as you mentioned. Boy, after going backwards and backwards, then to get the points out of it to give you a lead. Wow.
Wow. Momentum shifts all around here in the first half. North Dakota State, if they can get a decent return, might give themselves an opportunity. The Bison still 2 timeouts.
This has been a real fun first half, though, hasn't it?
Missouri Valley Conference football at its finest. And again, Erickson has shown the big leg. So Anderson may not have an opportunity here. This one drilled deep again. Bruce will let it bounce at about the 2 and into the end zone for a touchback. So the North Dakota State offense will have 17 seconds to see if they want to do anything. Try to give themselves an opportunity here late in the first half.
Well, you just never know, because the last touchdown the Bison scored, kid slipped down.
7 plays, 25 yards on that scoring drive in just 2 minutes and 4 seconds. And again, the long return by Ratkovich set up a short field for Western Illinois, and even though they went backwards quickly, able to convert on the long field goal.
Stick's going to take a knee.
And that will take us to the end of the first half. And Western Illinois, who owns a 2-1 record in this building, leads at 12-10 at halftime. The Proceed halftime report coming up in just a moment. Ryan Gellner will catch a word with NDSU head football coach Chris Kleiman. Ryan.
Chris, a lot of momentum swings back and forth in this one.
Yeah, really good football team we're playing, and quarterback's an excellent player, and we had the one miscue, and they hit our quarterback, made a big pick, but we're at 12-10. We got to regroup and have a great second half.
Biggest adjustment you'll make?
We got to continue to run the football, and then we got to get off the field on third down.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck.
All right, thank you, Ryan. Coach Kleiman, pretty calm, cool, and collected. We'll see if the Bison can make those adjustments, come out with a strong second half. Trailing 12-10 at home. Easton Stick to Urzendowski, the lone touchdown for North Dakota State. Proceed halftime report with Beth Hool and Alex Egan coming up after this timeout. Dome getting set for the second half. Ryan Gellner had a chance to catch up with the Western Illinois head coach Charlie Fisher.
Good first half for your football team, other than the one miscue on defense, but you got to be pretty proud.
Yeah, we're playing hard. That's the kind of team we got. We're gonna go and try to finish the fight. And this is a battle. This is two heavyweights going at it. So it's the kind of football game you want to play in.
I got to ask, the decision before half to kick that field goal, not go for it. Big leg on that kid.
Well, we used our long field guy. I screwed it up because I didn't run the clock down. So he had my back, and I appreciate that. Trust me.
Good luck in the second half. Guys, to you.
North Dakota State will get the ball first. Western Illinois won the toss and chose to take the ball. So Erickson on for another kickoff here for the Leathernecks. Bruce Anderson has not had an opportunity to return today.
After Easton Stick's slow start with the 1 of 5 and the 2 picks, he's hit on his last 3 passes and, of course, the one big touchdown. But you take the touchdown away, and then Stick has had 77 yards other than the long of the 58. But so far, the Bison through the air, that's the biggest offensive category for either team in terms of yardage.
And the Bison just 55 rush yards as Erickson, again, boots this one deep. Anderson 7 yards deep will take a knee. And NDSU will start at its own 25, trailing by 2.
To be honest, I thought NDSU had more than the 55 yards. That's 2.5 yards per carry. They're coming in averaging over 6. So if you're Western and you're Coach Fisher, you certainly like that stat in your regard. But the Bison also had an opportunity to show its physical presence up front as well.
Easton Stick's numbers in that first half and started off a little rough. Stick 1 of 5 with a couple of interceptions, but as you mentioned, LT rallied back. 4 of 8, 135 yards, the touchdown and the 2 picks. Your North Dakota Beef Commission quarterback stats. And Easton will operate out of the shotgun here on 1st and 10. Lance Dunn works off a tackle. Good gain of 5 up to the 30. Dragged down by Taylor.
By who? We haven't said his name all day, have we?
That's already the 9th tackle for Taylor today.
Nodak Insurance Company replay. And if you were, in the last decade that we've been doing games and following Western Illinois and that type of thing, it seems like they always have one guy that just has so many tackles, and Taylor's kind of been the guy the last couple of years who's just way out in front of everyone.
Play action. Wide open receiver in the flat is Ben Ellefson. Ellefson to midfield and down to the 48-yard line of Western Illinois. Just the 3rd reception of the season for the Hawley, Minnesota native, and the first time he's caught a ball that wasn't a touchdown. Ryan Gellner on the sidelines has a report for us, Ryan.
Yeah, guys, just a couple more notes from halftime. North Dakota State, as Chris Kleiman said, they want to continue to run the football. On the other side, Western Illinois, They'd like to get Jalen Ackland more involved. He's got nearly 1,000 all-purpose yards. We'll see if they can get it to number 17. Guys?
All right, thank you, Ryan. Stretch play this time to Dunn, working off a couple of tackles. And boy, a guy that's having a nice game today is Fitzpatrick, filling the hole, making another tackle for no gain.
Fitzpatrick is filling in for Aaron Diggs, who did start the game, but Fitzpatrick has many more snaps today from that safety position. And you mentioned his 3 interceptions. Also a baseball player in the spring as well for the Leathernecks. One of those multi-sport athletes.
Yeah, he and Steve McShane has made 32 starts as a baseball player at Western Illinois, as a brother that plays football at Cornell as well. They did give Dunn a yard on that last carry. And now Dunn to the outside. Slowed down by Saunders and then finished off up to the 43-yard line.
Power running plays in the first half to the left side. That's been effective. And so far a couple of zone read looks for NDSU going off to the right side. But we did see the speed and the lateral movement and how quick that big man Saunders is. He is very quick left and right.
So 3rd and 4 coming up for NDSU. The Bison 3 of 6 on 3rd down in the first half. Stick in the flat. Ilias makes the reception right at the sticks. He's got enough for a first down to the 39 of Western Illinois.
Bison also usually have a lot of pre-snap movement with their tight ends. This time they both came left and then split, and then Ilias went into the slot as a number 3 man. So that almost automatically puts you on a linebacker. Advantageous pre-snap read for Stick, and of course his best catching tight end, Jeff Ilias.
Yeah, the tight ends are responsible for 23 receptions and 6 touchdowns coming into this game. They're getting it done. Easton Stick on the keeper. Easton Stick down to the 22-yard line. The first time he has taken off on that read option, and he's got another first down.
This is read option off of jet motion. Look at Darius Shepard. He really kept that ball in there and last moment pulled it away. Gets a decent downfield block anyway there from Ellefson. Helps take the defensive back off his path to the quarterback. And I thought in the first half Stick was going to pull one of those and go. He didn't in the first half. He did just there.
Brock Robbins into the backfield. Play action for Stick. Wings it out and caught by Urzendowski, who keeps his feet and has another first down to the 11-yard line. So an impressive opening drive here in the second half for North Dakota State.
Watch Xavier Road. He gets twisted all over the place here on this play. Drops back, spins around. Urzendowski sets down, and he has pretty good space in there. Rowe, you have to remember, those were the 2 guys going at it downfield. Rowe slips down, and Urzendowski got the long touchdown.
Already 7 plays, 64 yards on this drive, and the first time we've seen the Delta formation for North Dakota State. Inside give, Anderson down to the 2 and close to another first down, about a yard short. Bison really mixing it up with formations on first down.
Bunch of different looks. Look at Kunert is able to get a little block there, move Taylor out of the way. Taylor's usually in on those tackles. You keep 44 out of the play, and you're going to have a pretty good pickup. And I think Anderson thought, oh, if I can just clear these guys, I'll dive into the end zone. And he got looks like his left pad got caught up in one of the tacklers.
Fitzpatrick and Xavier Rowe making the tackle that time for Western Illinois. 2nd and 1 at the 2. Back to Power, Dunn. I think he lost a yard. Back to the 3. We'll bring up 3rd. And a long 1, maybe 2.
Taylor's on the bottom of the pile. He obviously had help on that play, but he was the first man there. So that just shows you that the quarterback makes, or excuse me, the linebacker makes his initial read. He trusts his read, and he really blows through that hole hard.
So after Courtney Messingham, what do you dial up here on 3rd and 2 at the 3?
I'm going to guess pass of some sort.
Ilias motions out. He's got Quentin Boone on him.
Linebacker on him. You like that matchup.
Option. Stick keeps his feet and he's got a first down to the 1. I don't think he crossed the goal line, but he should have enough for a first down, I think.
No, I think he got the first down too. Brian Stick, and that last spin was trying to get to the end zone. Read option, cuts it up. Swenson makes him cut up, and then he's going one-on-one with the linebacker Taylor once again.
Oh, they're marking it
they
short.
slid it back a little bit.
Boy, I thought for sure he had it.
Well, the hard part on where we're seeing and where our cameras are, we don't see where the ball is on the front, if you know what I mean. We're seeing Stick's back and his hip when he hits that ground. We don't know where the ball is in relation to that.
He may
obviously was back a little bit.
Maybe a little bit short here.
Short.
Oh, by about a half a football. Now, is this worth taking a look at? If you're Chris Kleiman, at least asking for the officials.
I think for the very reasons what we talked about, Brian, we didn't see where the ball was for Stick, and Coach Kleiman in the first half left his team out there on 4th and short. Here they are again in the third, early third, 4th and going for it.
So here we go. The Bison came up a little bit short when they had a similar opportunity in the first half. Stick behind center will just nudge ahead, and he might have got in for a touchdown. No signal yet.
He's in.
Still no signal. Now he's got it. Touchdown, NDSU.
Fourth and inches turns into a touchdown for Easton Stick. And the Bison threw a bunch of different looks schematically at the defense with the intent to run the ball.
4th rushing touchdown of the season for the junior from Omaha.
And keep in mind that every scoring play, touchdown in this case, is reviewed. So the booth is going to take another look just to make sure.
Take another quick look at it here on the Nodak Insurance replay.
Behind Mesner.
Yeah, the knee's never down there, so I think that is certainly a touchdown.
This should be the one where we get a pretty good look at it. Yeah, I don't think he's ever down. The ball is certainly across. And I think it took a long time to get the initial touchdown called.
Peterson adds the extra points. And on its opening possession of the second half, North Dakota State marches 75 yards. And the Bison lead at 17-12 on the Egg Country Farm Credit Services scoreboard. Back in a moment. Today's game is brought to you in part by Gate City Bank, and for a limited time only, receive $700 off your mortgage closing costs. For more details, visit gatecitybank.com/betterhomeloans. Cam Peterson boots it away, another Peterson Farm seed kickoff. And it's taken by Wheeler at his own goal line. And Wheeler had a little bit of a crease, and things closed quickly. Aaron Mercado makes the tackle. A little bit of a pushing and shoving afterwards.
Yeah, Darren Kelly and Mercadell are there. Kelly, I think, was the first one, and then the reserve linebacker cleans it up.
Take a look at your numbers on Shawn Maguire, part of your North Dakota Beef Commission. Quarterback comparison, 6 of 10, 63 yards. Took care of the football, but he was also sacked a bunch in that first half.
Yeah, lost 15 yards and minus 15 in his rushing. And remember, he had a couple of positive ones too. But also, Coach Kleiman called this the most complete offense that we've seen to date. So he knows that even though the Bison defense has been physical, they still have their hands full.
Acklin in motion. McShane, not much. A sea of yellow jerseys. Shuts that thing down after a gain of 1. And Maguire actually sacked 5 times in that first half.
Thought Caleb Butler did a fine job of standing his guy up. I also thought Nate Tangway did not give an inch on that particular play either.
Your Bobcat scoring recap, 11 plays, 75 yards in just over 6 minutes as Easton Stick takes it in from 2 yards out on 4th and a foot. And the Bison have the lead, 17-12.
Also Blake Williams in that defensive tackle too. Solid on that last snap.
Play action. Butler Dropped off, caught, but not much room to maneuver. Jabril Cox closed quickly after the reception was made by Tyler Slamons. Backup tight end from Sugar Grove, Illinois.
The Stats National Freshman of the Week right there. You're looking at him, Jabril Cox, for the job that he did at Youngstown State last week. But just tremendous potential, and then look at his closing speed. That's the main thing. He sets those hips, gets going, and then there's no way for this ball to turn the corner because Cox is getting there with his speed. He is going to be so good, just barely scratching the surface of what his athletic ability is.
And Western Illinois, 2 of 7 on third down in the first half, and a majority of those third down opportunities were third and long. Here comes pressure. Maguire to Acklin, tipped and incomplete. Jalen Ellefson got up and got a paw on that thing, and a 3 and out for Western Illinois.
Tell you, James Hendricks was going downfield too and put a pretty good lick on Acklin. But Acklin got a free release, and then Hendricks kind of rolls him, hits him in the hip. That ball sailed a little bit high. But that was an extremely tight window that the quarterback was trying to get that ball to slide into on the Nodak Insurance Company replay.
46 receptions. He's averaging 138 yards a game receiving. He's been held to 2 receptions for 32 yards today, Jalen Acklin. Darius Shepard from his own 22 puts a couple of shakes on. Now back to the sideline and is pushed out of bounds at about the 30-yard line by Trey Hendon. We'll take another timeout. 7:08 to go here in the third quarter. Bison got the football back, leading by 5. Back here at the Fargo Dome, 17-12 your score for North Dakota State. They got the football at their own 30-yard line after a 3 and out from Western Illinois. Play action again for Stick. Rolls, fires to Connor Wentz in the flat. He is driven out of bounds on the play by David Griffith after a gain of about 4.
NDSU, I think, has an opportunity here with this drive to kind of take command of the game. If this can be one of those same type of things, that's physical, you know, just pound them a little bit through the air type of deal. But the Bison have a golden opportunity right here to just grasp control of the game.
One thing Cordy Messingham talked to us about earlier this week is throwing more on first downs. And he wished he would have done that more last week at Youngstown. Inside give to Anderson, nothing. Saunders there. Tackle for loss of 2.
I think Moon might have been the first guy there, though, crashing in from the left side, kind of catching the play from behind. You saw Stick making the read, but he's not reading where Moon came from. He was reading off to the quarterback's left, and he came from the right. Really spilled that hard.
So a 3rd and 7 coming up for the Bison. They'll spread it out here with 4 wide.
Both teams have faced 3rd and long quite a bit today, haven't they?
Stick going to take off and run. Nobody in the middle of the field, and Stick across midfield down to the 45 of Western Illinois. And Easton Stick's legs continue to buy the Bison extra plays and extra first downs. He scampers for a long one here.
Boy, this was the Red Sea parting. That baby opened wide up. Nodak Insurance Company replay. And one of the defensive linemen, Kyle Williams, I think, had to kind of run Stick down from behind. But when you can stay on the field when you're facing 3rd and long, boy, that's just so disheartening for the defense. So the Bison, again, doing a really good job of that.
Outside give, Anderson. Oh, a lot of room to the outside for Bruce, who almost snuck through another crease. Taylor makes the tackle, but another big gain of 16 for North Dakota State, up to the 28.
Tight end on the near side really did a great job of sealing off. And during the break, a person that we mentioned to each other is Bryce Mesner. I think Bryce Mesner's having a solid game, the left guard, number 62 for NDSU. 2 long runs, 2 first downs.
North Dakota State now piling up the rushing yardage here in the second half. Stick to throw across the middle, right on target, and again it's Urzendowski making the reception down to the 8-yard line. Another first down, and the Bison really starting to click offensively.
Well, play action fake. You get to the outside, and then you slide right into that window. Rowe has to play off of Freeman on the outside to make the tackle. Well timed, very well timed.
Bison over 300 yards of total offense now here in the football game. Stick out of the shotgun again.
With just 190 at halftime.
Stick to throw again. Stick going to take off and run to the 5. Eludes one man. Easton Stick still on his feet. Touchdown.
Well, I think Easton Stick's decisions when to go have been good ones. Obviously, on this drive, on the 3rd and long, he scrambled all the way across midfield. Here he's looking, nothing there. This is the tail end of it. A physical finish here by Stick. Gets popped by Rowe, stays on his feet, spins in for the 6.
And Peterson on for the extra point. Knocks it home, and the Bison have extended their lead to 12. 24-12, 4:02 to go in the 3rd quarter on the 8 Country Farm Credit Services scoreboard. Today's game is brought to you in part by Gate City Bank. Gate City Bank has been serving customers and investing in a better way of life since 1923 with 36 locations in 19 communities across North Dakota and western Minnesota. Another Peterson Farm Seed kickoff by Cam Peterson, taken at the goal line by Wheeler. And the Bison take him down at about the 26.
Aaron Mercadell in on the play. Dom Davis was also there. There we're looking at Jabril Cox, who at one point this year was leading North Dakota State in tackles because of his prowess on special teams.
Take a look at your Bobcat scoring recap for North Dakota State in that last drive. And efficient. Easton Stick doing a lot of the damage with his legs. 6 plays, 70 yards, and 3:06. Stick had a 23-yard run and then a 6-yard touchdown run, his second rushing TD of the day. There's Mercadell.
And then Jabril Cox. Those two guys finish off the play.
I still cannot believe that number 42 got out of the state of Missouri. Maguire to throw. Back against the grain. He's got a receiver there, and McShane darting around a couple of defenders and picks up about 8 yards on 1st down.
Real good play. I like the play. NDSU's been after the quarterback so hard. You roll the pocket a little bit right and then go back against the grain on a screen to McShane. And you see that DeLuca was cleared out of the play.
That's a pretty good open field tackle there by James Hendricks coming off a block.
Western has yet to run the jet. We talked so much and saw so much about that running play, and they haven't run it yet.
Play action. Bison putting on pressure, aired out again, and a perfectly thrown football, and it's complete to Jalen Acklin at the 48.
I stayed back and was watching Maguire, the quarterback. He takes one right in the chops here as Aaron Steidel hits him real hard right after the release. I thought it was maybe pretty close, but Acklin on a square out, picking up that 1st down.
Not bad coverage that time by Jalen Ellefson. There's another look at it on the Nodak Insurance replay. Oh, you're right, LT. He took a shot. McShane inside zone. Taken down after a gain of about 3. Good open field tackle that time by Jabril Cox.
Key thing there, though, is that Cox keeps his outside leverage. He keeps his outside part of his body free. Nodak Insurance Company replay. The ball bounces to the outside. Well, I saw that. It'd be busted up underneath there, I guess. I thought initially he went the other way.
Inside give to Norris. Gets what he can before he is slammed to the turf. Matt Plank in on that stop for NDSU. Will bring up 3rd and 4.
This year, Western has been a second half team, without a doubt, even though we're getting close to the end of the 3rd quarter. Coming into this game, they scored 114 more points than their opponents in the second half and finding themselves down by 12.
Western Illinois was down 38-6 to South Dakota and rallied back and had the football down 38-33 before the Yotes were able to hang on. That's the lone loss of the season for the Leathernecks. Bison bringing some extra pressure. Maguire hangs in there, completes. That's Gaston, but he's going to be well short of a first down. I don't even think he gained a yard that time. Bison all over it. Maguire pleading with his coach to go for it.
Not from 4th and that long. High side. Ellefson coming on a blitz, and he takes up the guy to allow, I think it was Jordheim, to get in there and hit the quarterback.
That was a good play by James Hendricks coming all the way back across the field, LT, to make that tackle on Gaston.
There it is. You see Jordheim duck underneath there and get another hit on Maguire. All-out blitz from the wide side of the field.
Punt. Taken by Grimsley, I believe, back there at about the 18-yard line. And North Dakota State leading by 12 has the football back once again.
Start of the 4th quarter, Southern Illinois leads Indiana.
What, 2 possessions this quarter, 2 scoring drives.
And Western Illinois 35 total plays, but 13 of them were on 1 drive in the first half. So the Leathernecks have really not been able to sustain anything, and more importantly, LT, for NDSU's defense, they have not really given up the explosive play today.
And then in the 3rd quarter here so far too, NDSU with those 2 long drives and a couple of long 3rd down plays have kept that offense off the field for the majority of that 3rd quarter as well.
Urzendowski, the motion man. Dunn trying to get to the outside. Boy, tough to outrun. Taylor makes another tackle. Gain of maybe a yard up to the 28, 29-yard line. And that will likely take us to the end of this 3rd quarter. And a 3rd quarter really dominated by North Dakota State.
A couple of key scrambles. Kept drives alive, and Bison built the lead up.
And that will do it. As we head to the 4th quarter, it's time to hold up your form for the 4 for 4 from PetroServe USA. Get a pizza, 2 cookies, and a drink for just $4 at all 22 PetroServe USA locations. Back to Fargo for the final frame after this. Easton Stick, boy, he has really done a nice job of shaking off a tough start. He's completed his last 8 passes. He's got 2 touchdown runs, 54 yards. And with the 1 touchdown pass to R.J. Urzendowski in the first half, has tied Carson Wentz for 3rd all-time in NDSU history. A little bit off target there, looking for Urzendowski, incomplete.
Just a hair behind him, but it bounces kind of off of Urzendowski's chest there to snap that streak. 8 in a row.
So a 3rd and long coming up for the Bison. NDSU 5 of 9 on 3rd down. Give credit to Easton. Really showed his maturity. Bo Pelini saying in the post-game press conference, I love that kid. I love the way he competes. He competes his butt off, is what Bo said after last week's game. Stick under pressure, getting out of pressure. Still on his feet, fires across the middle, and Urzendowski dropped it. Was right in his hands, and that does not happen often to the senior from Omaha.
Might be the only time of the year. Stick does so much good work here. And Moon, and actually Dunn does a really good job of picking up Moon on the scramble, gets away from one of the defensive lines. He knows a hit's coming, squares his shoulders up, going left, delivers a perfect ball, and his buddy dropped it.
So a punting situation for NDSU as Jackson Kuntz comes on.
Well, for the Leathernecks, that's what they needed. They needed to force a punt.
And Connor Wentz saw something he didn't like, tried calling an audible, and the play clock running down to 1. The Bison call a timeout.
Not an ideal time to use one of your timeouts on a punt.
Just 12 seconds in to this fourth quarter. We'll step aside and be back with more from here in the Fargo Dome. Bison leading by 12. Jackson Kuntz back to punt after North Dakota State called a timeout. Now they're taking a look at the Western Illinois formation. The Leathernecks did have a punt blocked last week, and Kuntz able to get this one off. Kind of a low wobbler. Will take a Bison hop at the 43 and stays in bounds and rolls all the way down to the 32. So a good job by Kuntz using the turf to his advantage on that punt. We do have a flag back at about the 27. Let's see what is going on there.
During the kick, holding, defense number 21. 10-yard penalty would be at the end of the kick. Western Illinois keeps the football.
Now that hurts Western Illinois, pushes them all the way back to their own 22 now. So let's go back to Beth Hool in studio for an in-game update, Beth.
Illinois State holding their lead over undefeated South Dakota in the third quarter today. It's 17-14 out of the half. Redbirds with the big play late. Jake Colby to Spencer Schnell. 71 yards on the first down to the South Dakota 14. It sets up James Robinson for the 14-yard touchdown. A 24-14 Redbirds lead after 3 quarters of football in Normal, Illinois.
Just like that.
All right, thank you so much, Beth. And boy, how about Illinois rebounding after a couple of head-scratching weeks at home against the undefeated Coyotes of South Dakota. Maguire back to work, complete to Isaiah LaShore. Quick pass for a gain of about 5.
Everyone calls him Zeke. And that comes directly from Isaiah Thomas, the NBA player called Zeke.
Yeah, his family, a bunch of Pistons fans back in the day. He did have an NDSU offer in the recruiting process. He actually threw a 9-yard touchdown pass at Coastal earlier this year.
Who caught it? You remember?
Maguire.
Yep, quarterback.
Maguire again quickly in the flat. Ackland makes the reception. Boy, tough guy to bring down. The Bison finally swarm him under. We'll bring up 3rd and 1.
All the success that Ackland has had getting downfield, getting open. We talked about those 22 plays of 20-plus yards with 9 touchdowns just in the last 3 games alone. Here he swims out and ducks underneath DeLuca. Still short of the first down, though. NDSU has done a fine job, though, of limiting those downfield plays to Ackland.
Marquise Bridges coming in to make sure Ackland could not get that first down. 3rd and 1. Robbie Grimsley cheating up with Dempsey. Inside handoff. Good job maneuvering in the hole that time by McShane. There was nothing in the middle. Was able to bounce it out. Pushed out of bounds by Jalen Allison. But he still picks up 4. Good enough for a first down to the 35.
Bison had it sniffed out pretty well inside. Boom, nothing there. And as you mentioned, Brian, that bounce, and then he turned on the speed. There he has the first down and dives to make sure.
So Western Illinois converts a critical 3rd down, trailing by 12. Maguire across the middle, and that was hung on to by Brandon Gaston. Another big gain that time as Grimsley makes the tackle at the Bison 45.
The lone sophomore in the starting offensive lineup. Otherwise, it's all juniors and seniors. And watch how Maguire, when he has time to step into that and let it zip. Well, that's a beautiful pass. He's able to get it past Jordheim and right into that spot for the first.
Maguire rolling, firing downfield for LaShore, and incomplete, just a little bit overthrown. Marquise Bridges over there. on the coverage for NDSU.
We're going to ISO on Zeke running here long. He just stops. He hesitates right there and probably kept him away from having that extra step he needed to get the completion on the back end of it.
We're seeing Western Illinois take a couple of shots downfield on this drive. Maguire, for the most part, has been held in check. 13 of 19 for 114 yards today.
And he's been hit. He's been hit a lot today.
Here comes Tuska. This one floated and almost intercepted. It may have been tipped out of the hands of James Hendricks by Jalen Ellefson. Both guys over there.
I don't know if it was tipped or not, but it bounces off the shoulder pads of Hendricks, which would have been his 5th interception. A little X in the back on the defensive line. And again, Maguire in his face. Yeah, it did look like it was tipped.
There's another look at it.
Tuska with good pressure. Tipped just a little bit. I think it caught a couple of fingers.
So 3rd and 10 again for Western Illinois.
Looks like coverage. Looks like the Bison will play coverage.
Maguire has some time, drops it off. Catch is made by Ratkovich, but well short of a first down. We're in that 4th and 6, and it makes you wonder if Charlie Fisher won't go for it here. It doesn't appear so. Punting unit coming on.
When you talk about playing coverage, that means there's no blitzes coming. The front 4, Stanley Jones, a real nice little spin move, and there was nothing for Maguire to do except dump it down, and then Hendricks made sure that he was in position to make the tackle. You don't want to let your guy spin out of that and get the first down. Well done by NDSU.
The tackling for North Dakota State, LT, has been very crisp today. And the punt, booted to the 5, takes a hop, and downed by the long snapper, Hunter Varga, at the 7. We'll take another timeout. 11:24 to go here in the 4th quarter. Bison got the football when we come back. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Gate City Bank. Show your Bison pride with an NDSU Gate City Bank ATM and check card. Visit gatecitybank.com/mycard. First play of the drive for North Dakota State. Inside give to Bruce Anderson. Gains 5 up to the 13.
Working the right side of the offensive line. That's where Kunert is. That's where Johnson is. It was zone blocking. Nobody pulls, allowing that running back the opportunity to pick the hole that he can find for himself. And he found about 5 yards on it.
12th tackle already for Taylor.
Yeah, again, averaging 14.5.
Anderson to the outside, tries to put a shake on a man, keeps his feet, but good job of wrapping up that time by Xavier Rowe. Anderson does have a first down to the 19. Excuse me, Tywin Holloway and on that tackle, not Rowe.
You see how Kunert has to take the first threat. Well, that's Griffith right there. So he takes care of that and allows his running back to go one-on-one with the outside guy to pick up the first down.
Part of the issue, certainly for Western Illinois, they've just not been able to run the football as effectively certainly as they'd like. Just 21 rushes for 29 yards today against the Bison defense. Anderson to the outside, Tanner Volson pulling. But good job pursuing from the backside. Taylor in on another tackle along with Colin Olson.
And remember, the Bison only had 55 yards rushing in the first half, and then a couple of long physical drives in that 3rd quarter, and then here we're reaching close to the midway point of this 4th quarter, and NDSU on the ground getting it done now. Up to what, 152? So almost 100 yards in the second half of rushing.
Stick to throw. Ilias makes the reception. Taylor another tackle. As Ilias gets across the 25 to the 26, will bring up 3rd and 3.
I think you mentioned it early in the first half, Brian, about Taylor, is that when he gets his hands on you, you stay tackled. You really do. He's impressive and fun guy to watch.
First team All-American preseason selection. Stick quickly on the slant. Was it caught? No, incomplete. Shepard, the intended target, had his hands on it, and the Bison will be forced to punt. This one hit the turf, apparently. Let's take a look.
Insurance Company replay. It's Fitzpatrick, and the ball comes out. I like the route, though. They were able to isolate after going in motion, isolate on the safety who's trying to close down, so you just come on a slant right back at where the safety was coming from, but he couldn't hold on.
Well, North Dakota State able to churn out a couple of first downs and at least run some time off the clock now. We're under 9 minutes to go. Kuntz on. Ooh, this is a bad one. Out of bounds at about the 48. 26 yards, not even 25 on that punt from Jackson Kuntz. Disappointed with himself. Good field position for Western Illinois, trailing by 12. Western Illinois with the football at midfield, trailing by 12. Play action. Maguire wants to throw it deep. He uncorks it. He has Acklin open. It is caught at the 5-yard line. Acklin went up and got it. And Western Illinois set up at the Bison 5. First and goal.
In the offseason, Western Illinois looked at a lot of film of Aaron Rodgers and what Rodgers does to get the ball deep downfield in a catchable position with shoulder angle and all of that. He aired it out off a double move, and Acklin pulls it down, and just like that, the ball is at the 5-yard line. And that, a play like that, is what Western has done a bunch this year.
Ratkovich in motion. Maguire to throw, flips it out. And it's complete to Ratkovich, but not much room to gain that time. Levi Jordan in on the tackle. Gain of a couple.
That's the linebacker's duty when a pass goes to the flat. You have to get there in position, stay squared, make a hit, and don't let him spin off of you. 2-yard gain, but he's not in the end zone.
Acklin to the high side of your screen. Norris in the backfield.